Hey, everybody, Pasha here. We got a video recommendation. Let's just give a shout out to our VIP tie-in right here, Yvette. So I want to learn to mark up the lines and how to use the fair value gap. Can you make a video for Discord? I'm new and would like to trade without having to copy trade. So Yvette joins us in our daily live stream while we're day trading, and basically she just wants to know how we mark up the chart. I know it looks kind of messy, and how we do fake value gaps. All right, well, let's do it. Okay, we're gonna try to keep it short and sweet. We're not gonna get too in-depth here. If you want to ask more in-depth questions, get on the live stream. We're live every single day, the entire New York session. So come on in, ask your questions. But how do we mark out levels? Well, basically all we got to do really is get on the 4-hour chart, right? Get on the 4-hour chart, find a spot where there is a lot of resistance and a lot of support. That's all you really got to do. You find those spots, and whoops, did I just change? You find those spots and you just make a horizontal line. So a couple other spots. And really, this is just kind of an art of trying to find spots or levels that have the most pivot potential. I know that a lot of these days, some of these levels don't play at all, but it's important to kind of have a little bit of a hang of just trying to get the approximate level. Like right here, for example, this looks like it might be a level 25,350. I know you guys can't really see the levels. Here we go. 25,350 right here. It looks like an approximate level, but for some reason I don't have it marked. I have 25,430 marked. Well, actually, I do have. Never mind, I do. I have this box. Yeah, I do have it marked. So that's all you do. You get on the 4-hour. You look where the most pivot points are. Where the most control is. Where the levels are, where either buyers or sellers really step in. Those levels where there's full-on reversals, things like that. And you just mark them out and you pull them forward to whatever day you're trading. And here's the crazy thing. A lot of these levels I set way back, months ago. But the thing about the market, what's it been doing? It's been consolidating in these levels. It's really just been going up and down, up and down, up and down. So for months and months and months, about 4 or 5 months specifically, or exactly, we've been going through all these levels. So these levels from 4 or 5 months ago are actually playing. They're in play. For example, here's this box. This box started after a gap up right here, a bullish gap up. Ever since then, this box has played multiple times. It's played multiple times, so all I'm doing is I'm just pulling it forward and just watching it play. Today's a great example too. Look at this. I have 24,850 as a level, and then I have this box that goes from 24,450 to 24,200. And look at this. Yesterday we had a little sell-off. This 850 level was kind of playing a little bit. It was a control area. And then we had rejection of that level into this box, bounce right off of the top of the box. Look at that. It went 3 ticks below the top of the box. So the top of the box, 24,450, it went to 449.25 and just full reversal for an entire 450 points. So, you kind of just got to go with the flow. Now, I will give you a little shout out. And if you guys with the shout out, give them some love. But a guy named Trade Brigade, I believe, on YouTube, Trade Brigade. This guy sets levels like every single morning. So if you have no idea and you don't want to go through here and try to just like find random levels, I sometimes bounce my levels off of his. Go on his stream. I think he goes live like every single morning at I don't know, 8:30 Eastern time. And he shows his levels for a bunch of different instruments. Go with something like that if you're not able to set it. But either way, I think it's important to just get some kind of levels. So that's how I draw my lines. I bounce mine off Trade Brigade, but mostly I just go through and try to find the spots that are the most controlled, pull them forward. Now, if you're going for like all-time highs, if you go all the way up here, then it gets difficult. Then you might want to, you know, draw out some kind of bullish channel, which this kind of bullish channel or ascending channel. You want to draw out trend lines, things like that, so you can kind of approximate where this extends. I know some people use Fibonacci and all that stuff. I don't use that. So, but that's another way you can do this, okay? You can kind of extend and approximate like where we go. As right now, you know, if we did push up bullish, this would be a target level right here, which would be previous all-time high. So if that would happen, and also I would be targeting the top of this channel. So if this would go past the all-time high, but it would be like somewhere over here, I'd be targeting the top of the channel. On a weakness, I'd be targeting the bottom of the channel. On the break of the channel, I'd be targeting all these levels that played before. That's about it. It's really that easy. And you know, I've just noticed really that the key levels that I have set, you have a test of key level. When it breaks, it goes to the next key level. If that key level breaks, it goes to the next one. And then if a key level holds, it goes to the one before. So it's like, man, sometimes it's really incredible. And if you avoid, you know, something like this, we're looking at the 4-hour chart right now. But if you avoid something like this, I mean, look at this. Look at how many hours. I mean, there's a range here, yes. You could trade in here. I'm talking about these 3 candles right here. You can definitely trade in here. But what do I have here? I have this ugly box that I set that I'm like, hey, this box I don't want to trade in really because it seems like very volatile, very choppy, like price tries to stick to the center. Okay, I don't remember exactly how I set this box, but I got this box. Okay, this was like months ago that I was like, I identify this box. It seems like price really wants to stick inside of it. Well, now I still have this level, and this was February 4th that I got into this box. And look at this. It's still played. This level was still in play. But look at this. 3 4-hour candles. That is 12 hours. 12 hours that the price moved less than 200 points up or down. That's ugly. Maybe 10 years ago, that's not ugly. 200 points is great. But right now, you know what? The Nasdaq's getting way better moves than this. So I want to stay away from this. So guess what? When we get the full-on rejection, boom, what can we do? We play to the next level. Whenever that rejects, boom, we play to the next level. Look at this. Boom, rejection, next level hit. We got a bounce, retest, rejection, boom, next level hit. Then we bounced between levels, consolidated, boom, next level breaks through, and then it goes to down to this. I mean, you got to catch the moves. It's level to level. It's really not that hard. So that's what we do. That's what we do. That's how we set the levels. Okay, for the next question. How do we make fake value gaps? How do we find fake value gaps? Like Mr. I Can't Trade. We're not going to go in depth what the heck fair value gaps are. There are a bunch of videos on YouTube. But for those of y'all, like Yvette, that are just curious and they're like, hey, how do I do fair value gaps? How can I set them up? We'll talk about it right now. Let's see here. Okay. What you need for a fair value gap. So I'm on the 5-minute chart. This can work on 1-minute chart, 2-minute chart, 5-minute chart, 4-hour chart, daily chart. Okay. I kind of like it on the 5-minute chart because I usually watch the 5-minute chart and yeah, I don't want to be jumping around different time frames. So if I'm going to take a trade based on a fair value gap, I'm going to do it on the 5-minute chart, okay? I'm going to try to find an example of one. So what do you need for a fair value gap? You need a candle formation. It's a 3-candle pattern. So you need a candle formation, the next candle continue in that direction, and then the next candle to not have a wick touching the previous top wick. So you got, here, we'll go super, super close here. So we got our first candle right here, right? Second candle. And third candle does not have a wick on the bottom. This is a bullish fair value gap, by the way. Does not have a wick that touches the top of this wick. There needs to be a gap, a fake value gap, okay? So what do we do for this fake value gap? Well, we draw something. What do we draw, Pasha? We draw a rectangle. Boom. That is the I can't trade fake value gap. Now, with a fake value gap, usually what you do is you try to enter long at the middle of the gap. So this gap is pretty big. The bottom of it is 24,667. The top of it is 24,725. Really big fake value gap, 60 points. And look at this. The middle would be, I don't know, something like 697, 695. Look at this. You get the continuation, right? You get this big red candle. And look at this. Bullish hammer comes right into the middle of the I can't trade fake value gap. I know I'm going to trigger some people. I'm just completely joking, by the way. But anyways, it comes right into the middle of the fair value gap and finds strong buying support. So on this trade, basically what you need to do is you need to take a long at the middle and you set your stop loss at the low of this candle. So if it basically goes and dumps through here and breaks below this candle low, the middle one, the one that created the gap, then it's a bad gap. It's inversing. That would be considered an inverse fair value gap or inverted fair value gap, whatever it's called. Basically, it just means that's it. This is turning bearish. It's not bullish anymore if this inverts. But this held. So you took the trade. You say your stop loss here. Some people, they wait for the support to come in to take it. But guess what? Sometimes this wick is instant. So you might not even catch the long. But either way, you take the trade. Your stop loss is down here. And you take your 20 points, 30 points, 40 points, 50 points. This one ended up getting an entire 80 points. You could, if you count this, it got an entire 90 points on the long. Ultimately, it went below here and then it went super long up here. But the first touch of this fair value gap gave a lot of points. So that's fair value gap right there. Let's find a bearish fair value gap. Let's find a bearish one. So look at this. Wow, perfect timing. There's one like right in here. Can you see where it is? Can you find it? Well, I'll help you find it. Let's see. Let's get it. Rectangle. Boom. We got a gap forming. Boom. That's it. That's a bearish fair value gap. Look at that. Let's take the same trade. The center ends up being about 24,694. Pretty much the same level as over here. Interesting. Okay. So 694, right? Our stop loss would be 24,720. So about 25 points. And let's just say it's a 1-for-1 trade. 25 points for 25 points. 25 risk for 25 reward. So 25 below, let's just say 695 for ease of counting. Your target is going to be 670. And look at that. 670 hit. Right here is 670. And ultimately, this trade could have gotten you 45 points if you caught the bottom. So here it is. You enter the bearish fair value gap, 694. You got 12 points of drawdown and ultimately got about 45 points, 45 to 50, about 45 points in your favor on the trade. But be careful, because these fake value gaps can end up being super fake and not holding or whatever. Because, like, here's a good example of one. Here's a fair value gap that hit, and this is actually a good point that we can make. So here's a fair value. Here's a big one that actually hasn't tested yet. So this one's not tested yet. But let's look at one that actually did. Just one more example before we cut this video, because it's getting way too long. All right, here's bullish fair value gap right here. Okay, usually, I guess how some people trade these is if a candle does go in here, it already used up the gap or whatever. I don't know. I guess there's some rule that if the gap touches a candle, then it's already done and used. I guess it's one-time use. I don't know why, but that's, I guess, what some people do. But look, little tiny touch in there, then squeezed up, whatever, failed back down. But look at this. Interestingly enough, imagine you placed your trade here, at 808, let's say, is the middle of the fair value gap. So this pullback actually didn't, hit your trade. Let's just say you walked away for a couple hours. Your trade didn't hit. You're coming back down. You're coming back, and you're like, uh-oh. Well, my trade didn't hit. This thing's now pulling back super heavy. Look at that. It hits your trade. It gives you 2 points of drawdown. And then after those 2 points of drawdown, it rockets how many points? My goodness. 35 points to the upside for 2 points of risk, of drawdown. I mean, somehow it worked. I don't know what it is about these fake value gaps, but somehow they work. So that's basically how you do it. That's it. That's how you set your levels, and that's how you take fake value gap trades. I appreciate you guys. I wish you good luck. Trade safe. Make sure you join me on the stream for a New York session. We're going to be trading every single day, live Monday through Friday. So, I mean, come stop by, say hi. You know what I mean? What are you going to lose? Some time? You're trading anyways. All right. I appreciate you guys. Good luck with the fake value gaps. Mr. ICT, no hate. Just appreciating you, brother. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys New York session. Take care. Bye.